Hey fellow foodies, hope you're doing well. I've got a really good one-pot recipe to do for a nice weekend meal. It's heartwarming, it's delicious, and it's braised beef short ribs. Absolutely yummy piece of meat. It's kind of fatty, I know, so this is a one-time in maybe 6 months kind of meal. To a deep skillet, I'm adding a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Since this is saturated fat meat, you try to reduce any other fat content that you can. So I'm using a polyunsaturated oil. But you use whatever oil or fat product that you like. Here we've got some beautiful beef short ribs with the bone. The number of ribs that you cook would be dependent on the number of people you're serving. One of these is good enough per person. So if you're serving 3 or 4 people, make 3 or 4 ribs. These are absolutely huge, and you can see how short ribs are really kind of fatty. A lot of that fat's going to cook out when we braise this. I'm seasoning with some salt and pepper. If you want this a bit spicy, you can add some hot paprika. You can add some hot sauce to the sauce. You can also add some cayenne pepper, whatever you like. I've got this on pretty high heat and I'm browning both sides of these short ribs. Doesn't that look good? They're absolutely brown and crispy and delicious. I put the cover on just to keep the heat up so that it crisps and browns very quickly. To that same pan, I'm adding a quart of cremini mushrooms, 2 cups of turnips, and 2 cups of potatoes. You could certainly add carrots to this and sweet potatoes. You could make this mixture whatever you like. All kinds of earthy vegetables are good. Change the combination up to whatever you like. This is what I had on hand in the fridge, so this is what I'm using. I'm seasoning with salt and pepper. You need to season every layer that you add to this braise. It's important so that all your vegetable tastes good, all your meat tastes good, and everything is delicious. I'm adding about a teaspoon of browning. If you don't have browning, you could use soy sauce. You could use Worcester sauce. Just keep in mind that the flavors will be different depending on what kind of sauce you add. I'm adding about a cup of concentrated beef stock. You can use whatever beef stock you like. This is what I happen to have. And because it's concentrated, I'm going to be adding a bit of water just to cut the stock and dilute it. The concentrated beef stock can be a bit salty, so I've made sure that we reduce the salt content by adding a little bit more water. You need to braise this. It's going to take a good hour at a low simmer. And you'll know when it's ready when the beef is ready to fall off the bones. And there you can see, doesn't that look good? Absolutely delicious looking. The browning makes a delicious deep color. If you wanted to add another flavor to this, you could use some dry red wine. That would deepen the flavor even more and make it more delicious. By the time this is braised for an hour or 2, any alcohol content would have evaporated. I'm seeing that the juices are a bit thick, so I want to cut, dilute it a bit to make it a bit more gravy-like. There's the finished dish. Beautiful beef that's ready to fall off the bone. Delicious root vegetables, turnip, potatoes, and mushrooms. If you like the recipe, I would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. Just love to have foodies here with me. Thanks for stopping by for another beef recipe that warms your soul. We'll see you next time.